Hello everyone, this is Genius Yoshi, and today we're building an aggro and tricks deck. Why? Because I needed a third deck to play against for new constructed decks, at least for next little while. And we have Ruby Amethyst Control, we have an Amber Songs somewhat controlled combo tempo style deck, and the last one I wanted is an aggro deck. And it's going to be aggro and tricks in Amber and Emerald. And this is taken a little bit from the Muses deck I had played earlier a few weeks back that plays a lot of cool tricks, but this time it's a hard aggro version. Thanks to Daisy Duck, Donald's Date, 1/4 2-quester. This is the most valuable rare of Shimmering Skies, and for good reasons. It's a hard to remove 1-drop. She can quest, she can get tackled. It doesn't matter as long as it's not a Gaston or a Madame Mim. She will survive. Well, unless toward later in the game, but you get what I mean. I'll be playing 4 copies of Daisy Duck in the deck. I'll also be playing 4 copies of the Cursed Merfolk. Slightly counter-synergistic with the Daisy Duck, since Daisy gives the opponent cards and the Cursed Merfolk takes cards away, but they are 2 of the best 2-questers, and depending on what you get in your opener hand, you may want to go with more Daisies, more Cursed Merfolk, or just open up with the Merfolk and then follow up with the Daisy and make the opponent's life a bit more difficult. Trick them into discarding characters, and then you don't actually quest with Daisy and they're out of cards! Yeah, evil stuff doesn't work when you're playing aggro. You go quest, 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 but this deck has tricks. So it's not just about the aggressive game plan, although that can win games by itself. So we have the 2 most aggressive cards that are available to us, and now we build from there. So what do we want next? Well, if we're going to go wide, one of the best questers in class is Mr. Piglet. The Pooh Pirate Captain becomes a 3-quester when you have 3 characters on the battlefield, including itself, so it's a very powerful quester. We also are going to go with the usual Simba as the bodyguard. 2/3 bodyguard, nice little blocker to protect our weaker characters. So that's kind of our hard aggro core. Then we're going to move into the tricks section. So as we move up, we have the option of going after more 2-questers, and maybe there's another one we can put in. Let's put in a Flynn Rider. Another nice 2-quester that doesn't really want to be challenged. So that gives us a nice, very aggressive core with a bunch of small characters. But then where do we go from there? Well, as the 3-drop, our options in terms of big questers aren't as good, so we're going to go with just powerhouse cards instead. There's Diablo, the devoted Herald, which has proven its power as a draw engine. He's also evasive, so he goes well in an aggressive strategy, helps us refuel these cards that we've just thrown away for lore, while also being evasive, which is really nice. And here I'm going to do a slight U-turn and go after some Ursulas. So Ursula Deceiver, which doesn't overly fit the aggressive team, but picking off a Be Prepared or Grab Your Sword at the appropriate time is going to allow our board to live, maybe for one final big quest or just to avoid getting completely wiped from the opponent. And I'll also be playing Ursula Deceiver of All because while she's a removal magnet, the opponent must deal with the Deceiver of All, otherwise you can punish them pretty hard with a bunch of songs. So let's go for those songs. Well, actually no, before the songs, I've already spoiled it, so I might as well talk about them now. The Muses allows us to bounce characters with 2 power or less, and combined with Ursula gives us a very powerful, we bounce stuff, we double cast it, we bounce more stuff, get more value out of the songs, and just outvalue our opponents with Muses and Ursula as the combo. In these colors, we also have access to Ariel, Spectacular Singer, which allows us to find these songs. Also has Singer 5s, which is going to be important in just a moment here. So now we have this very hard aggro shell kind of meshed together with songs and tricks, and gives us longevity and card draw. And what remains is to go after some good songs. So we're going to go after some of the 2-drop songs that we have. Actually, let me show all the songs. That's what we have to work with. So I'll put a pair of Mother Knows Best, but I don't want too many uninkables. We already have 4, 8, 12, so 14. Maybe we can afford 2 more, but we don't want too many. With playing the Muses as well as Ursula, Deceiver of All, we definitely want to be playing Painting the Roses Red. I've lost my filter on songs here. Oh, Queen or songs. An odd filter indeed. So Painting the Roses Red allows us to weaken the opposing characters so we can bounce them off of the Muses. We can double cast it to draw 2 off of Ursula, also weaken the character quite a bit with a double trigger of Painting the Roses Red. So we definitely want some of that. Strike a good match. Gives us some card draw, especially with Ursula. It becomes a draw 2, discard 1, draw 2, discard 1. Almost a draw 4, discard 2. Almost. Not quite. But still very good. And yeah, we're looking for other songs that we can sing with Ursula. There's also the Bare Necessities. That's available here, which we can play in 2 copies. It's nice at picking off that Be Prepared or Grab Your Sword. It gives us some redundancy for our 2-drop Ursula. Now we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 cheap songs. That is probably good enough to justify playing Ursula, Deceiver of All. We can get some value out of it. Also, she's just going to be tanking removal spells anyways, and protecting our weaker characters from those. The threat of just having the Ursula in play is actually a big threat. But for Ariel to be worth it, I'd like to be playing a few more songs. And we have access to You're Welcome, a nice new addition from Shimmering Skies. Gives us access to singable, cheap removal. The Muses can sing it, Ariel can sing it, and in pinch we just cast it for 4. Nice inkable piece. And we'll also be playing 2 Lost in the Woods. And maybe I should be playing like a 3rd copy of it. I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. The theory is it combos really well with the Muses because you get to weaken all of the opponent characters, which means you can bounce back 4 powered characters or less, which is pretty cool. Ariel can sing it. And also, if you weaken all of the opponent's characters, unless they have rush characters, that means that our cheap 2 questers are suddenly protected because the -2 power lasts until the start of our next turn. So this goes well with our aggro strat, goes well with our Muses tricks strategy. So it's a nice inclusion. And then as we're looking to wrap up our list, our 1-drops are pretty nicely filled. Our 2-drops are nice. I'd like a little bit more protection, a little bit more on the aggro side. So we're going to go with the unavoidable lore and include a pair of Baloo von Bruinwald the 8. Yes. And that will conclude our list. So we have a nice mix of a hard aggro shell that goes into Muses Ursula tricks, and yeah, we get to play with Daisy, we get to play with You're Welcome. So we do get to use some of the new nice treasures brought to us from Shimmering Skies and have a fun time at the same time. So all that remains is to see the deck in action with some games coming right up. Alright, let's start with game number 1. We are black, opponent is red. And we get 4-1, so our opponent gets to go first. Let's try opening 7. Painting Roses Red, strike a good match. A Baloo, Diablo, Flynn, 3 for 5. Muses and another Flynn. Now, I don't like having the 2/3 drops that are uninkable. I favor Diablo, so I'm going to send back Baloo. I don't need the double Flynn, and with the double songs, I'm going to keep the Muses. So I'll send these two back into the deck. And I pick up another Muses and Ursula. As we will pass the turn, well, pass the first turn to our opponent. Who gets to go first? Opponent is going to ink a big queen. Goes to 1. And is going to play Robin Hood. Small Robin, threatening to shift into Big Robin as we pick up Cursed Merfolk. That's a draw. I don't think we need the double Muses, although on turn 2, we're either going to Ursula or Flynn. We see our Queen and a Robin, so our opponent's most likely playing songs. And with Robin on battlefield, I don't think I want to go too aggressively questing with the Flynns. So I think I'm going to ink a Flynn Rider and land Cursed Merfolks. As we'll pass the turn back to our opponent. Picks up a card. Opponent is going to ink a small queen. Going up to 2. And has no further play for the turn, I guess. Robin can quest. Bringing the score 1-0 for our opponent. As we get the turn back, we pick up Ursula, Deceiver of All. That's an interesting pickup. At this point, I think we inked the Muses. And our turn 2 play is gonna be Ursula, Hand Disruption Artist. And we find our opponent's hand to be Prince Naveen, Strength for Raging Fire, double Ariel, and Robin. So we have to pick up the Strength for Raging Fire, leaving our opponent with, well, plenty of good options. And we know they have the extra Robin. And they still got a quest with the Merfolk. Wait, I think we do. But we're about to Ursula Muses, and that can be quite amusing. Anyways, let's quest. Pass the turn back. Or hyper aggro, right? Opponent picks up a card. That's a small queen that gets instantly inked. 3 for the opponent. Yeah. Ariel. Opponent looks at the top 4, finds a whole new world, puts that in their hand. Well, things can get pretty dicey with what our opponent has in a whole new world. Robin's going to challenge the Cursed Merfolk. Since with whole new world, it's no longer a big threat, opponent will discard Ariel. As the turn passes back to us, we pick up another Deceiver of All, so we're going to ink 1. Go to 3. And I think we play the Ursula. The big threat. Small Ursula, well, I can just leave her be for now. And we'll pass the turn back to our opponent. One draws. Inks Mr. Smee. Goes to 4 ink. And on 4, our opponent is going to... Let me know in the comments below. Do you Naveen Whole New World, or do you shift Robin Hood and sing Whole New World with Ariel? I'm going to go with the Naveen route because it's a newer card. But I think both plays are pretty good. So opponent's going to hardcast the Naveen. Prince Naveen gets to insta-sing Whole New World. Everything to the discard, and I'll get a new fresh mid of cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Amber Steel Song doing its favorite things as we pick up our own 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Some nice variation of cards that we drew. And Opponent wants to get rid of our Deceiver of All, so Ariel's going to sing. And then along came Zeus Lightning. Goodbye, Ursula. No! We like that, Ursula. And Robin gets a quest. Bring the score to 2-2. As turn passes right back to us. Pick up Piglet. With this particular hand, I don't think we care too much about painting the roses red, so we're going to ink it. I can double drop here, either Piglet Simba or Ursula Piglet. I think I slightly prefer Ursula Piglet route because we get to see our opponent's hand. So Ursula first. What do you have, opponent? Opponent has only world's greatest criminal that we can pick off from our opponent's hand. A Queen, Smee, Alan Adale, Benja, and the Queen. Nothing too impactful in terms of enter the battlefield abilities. It's just quite reassuring. So I guess we're going to land our Piglet. And I'll pass the turn back to our opponent. Opponent draws. Opponent's on 4. So the small queen's going to get inked. And opponent is going to land the queen. As the rest of the stuff is just going to go to quest. Going to 6. And turn passes back to us. We pick up another daisy. That is quite interesting. I would like to have a singer for Lost in the Woods, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get one. Although I think I prefer Lost in the Woods to You're Welcome. So I'm going to ink You're Welcome in this particular board. Then we get to double daisy Baloo. Although we're very prone to grab your sword. But we know our opponent didn't have grab your sword. They had one draw last turn. What are the odds that they'll draw into another one? I think we just go wide. Baloo. Daisy, daisy. Let's put them in daisy. I guess I should highlight back. Let's highlight Baloo until next turn. 0-3 Bodyguard. Whenever he's banished, we gain 2 lore. Now the opponent has a bit too wide a board for my liking, so I'll wait for next turn. Next turn I get to Lost in the Woods and quest with the squad. Hopefully we can use that to turn the tables. So I'll pass the turn back to our opponent. Picks up another card. Opponent inks a Benja. Goes to 6. No, it's 6. Opponent is gonna go Allendale, Mr. Smee, get the full house into play, and Ariel's gonna sing Let the Storm Rage On to take down Piglet. I mean, Strength of Raging Fire. Wrong song. And I guess our opponent gets a quest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait. Alan and Smee are still drawing. So 1 ink off of Alan Adele. Forgot the trigger off of the Strength of Raging Fire. Play a song, you gain a lore. And then questing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up to 12 for our opponent. And turn passes back to us. We draw Ariel. So opponent has 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10 available. And we have very limited power to challenge them. We'd have to attack with the daisies. Well, that's not great. Maybe Ariel can find something? I do feel like I need to play Lost in the Woods, but we need to find something with Ariel. And we find You're Welcome. Not what we're looking for. I'm gonna ink it. Got a 6. Play Simba as a bodyguard. Quest with Baloo, go to 3. Now I need to do some challenges. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. We need to take down 2 of the 3 questers. We simply don't have the power to do it. We have Ursula's 1 power, Ariel's drawing, and the daisies can just challenge for 1. So let's quest for 6, go to 9, and concede the game. As Amber Steel Song takes the win. We just couldn't get there quite fast enough. I really would have liked to play Lost in the Woods, get all of that questing in play, and well, then the opponent's hard pressed to come back to defeat our board. But that was not in the cards. Also daisy triggers, but I mean, we're about to lose. So I'll skip the triggers for now. And we'll move on to game number 2. Alright, let's go to game number 2. Your black opponent is red. And we lose again. Alright, well, we get to go second. Also, I've just put the battlefield a little bit bigger for this game. Let me know if this is better or worse than the previous camera angle. Let me know in the comments right now as we're deciding the opening hand. So we have a Cursed Merfolk into Simba Piglet and then Baloo Diablo. Don't want to keep both of those. Don't overly want a You're Welcome right now. So I'm going to send these 2 back. Keep Ursula as the other option of play. We find the second Ursula and a daisy. Alright. Well, we're playing a hard aggro, right? If only we could go first. But we don't. So our opponent goes first. Opponent is going to ink a Magic Broom. And playing a Magic Broom. Turn passes back to us as we pick up Strike a Good Match. We'll ink our Deceiver of All. And Merfolk doesn't look as good in front of Magic Broom, so I'm going to land Daisy Duck. And we'll pause a turn. Opponent picks up card for turn. Opponent inks a Merlin Crab. And we'll land a second copy of the Magic Broom. And I guess quest for 1, because why not? Declining the trigger off of the Magic Brooms. So turn passes back to us. We pick up the Muses. Ursula and Muses is always a fun combination. So now we have to decide whether we're going to Simba or the Piglet route. Or we could just completely skip the Deceivers at the Ursula Muses. Our opponent's probably playing Ruby Amethyst, because we've seen a Crab and 3 Magic Brooms so far. So Muses isn't the best in that matchup. So we're going to ink our Muses for now. Going to our 2 ink. And we might as well go Piglet. Quest for 2 off of Daisy, and Daisy Duck triggers whenever she quests. Opponent reveals the top card of their deck. If it's a character, they put it into their hand. Peking Undisputed goes to the bottom. Got a free quest. That's good. Pass it to turn back. Opponent inks a Sisu. And it's unfortunately the infamous turn 3 for Magic Broom quests. And it's time for Madam and Fox. Coming down, picking back up the Magic Broom. And the Fox has perfect stats to take down Daisy. And that's disappointing. Like the video just for that terrible pun. As the turn passes back to us, we pick up another Simba. We're going to ink that Simba since our opponent now has a Madam and Fox, putting a ton of pressure on us. We'll go with plan B. Ursula, Deceiver of All. Then I'll pass the turn back. Opponent draws. Opponent is on 3. Opponent is going to ink a Magic Broom. Go to 4. Quest with the Magic Broom. And land the Elephant. Madam M Elephant picking back up the broom. Opponent now with 4 cards in hand. Mim doesn't have much to do, so she's going to quest. This turn passes back to us. Guess I should highlight our Deceiver of All. Ursula shows 55 results. Let's highlight the Enchanted One. Whenever she sings, she gets the double sing. Flynn Rider. I don't know. Don't think the discard's that impactful. So we're gonna ink Flynn. I mean, at this point in the game, against a Ruby Amethyst opponent. And we get to strike a good match, double casting it with Ursula. Probably want to do that. Strike a good match. Draw 2, discard 1. So draw 2, find another Deceiver of All, and Simba. We're going to send one of the Simba away. Then we cast it from our discard, find Ariel and painting the roses red. We can get rid of the cursed Merfolk. And that goes to the bottom of our library deck. And that was free. Yeah, so that was Song for turn. We've inked a card. Now we gotta play stuff. I guess we can play another Ursula. Get some value out of painting the roses red. Or we can play the Devoted Herald and go with that line of card draw. But Ursula is gonna get taken out probably by the elephant, which is a problem. And the elephant is gonna just destroy Diablo. So let's go with that. Let's go with second Ursula. And Piglet's actually a liability now, because it can get eaten by the elephant, so I'm going to trade it with Mim Fox. It's a hard time to be playing aggro. As we'll pass the turn to our opponent. Well, Elephant is going to take down Ursula, taking 2 points of damage in the exchange. Then our opponent is going to draw on 4. Ink Mim Fox. Going to 5. Just land a Maui. Maui for pressure. Passing turn back. Pick up a Flynn Rider. Let's see what we can find off of Ariel. So Ariel, look at dot 4. We find Bare Necessities as the only song. Send the other ones to the bottom of our deck. Spectacular Singer. Trying to find some food for Ursula's. Well, right now, our one Ursula. Bare Necessities can allow us to take down 1 card from our opponent's hand, assuming they have a song. Right now they have the stronger board position, so it's not overly tempting. We can play the pair of 2-drops, just try to develop our board. And I don't think we need to ink anything, so just stick it there. Pass the turn back. Opponent draws, start the turn. Madam Mim Elephant is going to move the damage to Flynn. Take it out. Oh, Madam Mim. Opponent is on 5. Is going to sing Friends on the Other Side with Maui, since he has nothing better to do. Opponent picks up 2 cards. Opponent inks a snake. Goes to 6. And it seems like a good time to go for a Sisu Flynn. Opponent trying to take advantage of their strong board position, questing with the Madam Mim Elephant. As the turn passes back to us, we pick up Strike a Good Match. We can weaken them severely with painting the roses red, but then we become weak to Madam Mim Elephant. This is not looking good. The oppressive power of Ruby Amethyst is really getting to us. We need to go first to be able to apply enough pressure, I think. Diablo is going to be too slow. Alright, so if Diablo is going to be too slow, then let's go and find something. What do we need? We need the Muses, right? We need the Muse, and then we need to double sing Painting the Roses Red. So, I don't think I can sing Strike a Good Match. Can I find the Muses this turn? I mean, I could sing it with Simba. I have 4, so then I would need to find and play a Muse. Then sing Painting the Roses Red. Double it up. I still can't bounce Maui. It's mostly Mim Elephant I need to worry about. Alright. So let's sing with Ursula. Strike a Good Match. Double cast. We find another Strike a Good Match. We'll discard the Cursed Merfolk. And the second Strike a Good Match finds us the Muses that we were looking for. This goes to the bottom of our deck. Alright. So our 4 is going to be casting Muses. And now we need to sing some stuff, because we're out of ink. So let's start by singing the Bare Necessities. Wait, how many cards does our opponent have? Doesn't matter? I need to read Sisu. Whose hand matters for Sisu? For each card in the opponent's hand. So we have 4 cards in hand. Sisu's 5 powered. Doesn't matter. Well, I need to bounce the elephant. Actually, I need to reread the Muses. Muses goes after 2 power, right? Muses. Yeah, whenever we play a song, return chosen character with power 2 or less to that player's hand. Alright, so you need to start with Painting the Roses Red. Sing it with Simba. Target Madam Mim Elephant. And I'll target doesn't matter, right? I'll say Maui. You got to pick up a card. And you find you're welcome. And Muses is gonna bounce Madam Mim Elephant. Find a You're Welcome. So we can give our opponents cards in exchange for tempo. Alright, well, Ariel's gonna sing it. You're welcome. Get rid of Maui. I mean, Maui, that's what you do. The Maui spell gets rid of the Maui character. So we shuffled it into that player's deck, and we give them 2 cards. And that was the song. So Muses trigger, and we get to bounce back Flynn to our opponent's hand. I called it aggro and tricks, right? These are the tricks. Although we're giving our opponent, our Ruby Amethyst opponent, way too many cards. 2 more cards. Opponent now has a mitt full of 6 cards in the hand, but we don't know what they are, or do we? All right, so that concludes our turn. We're out of stuff to sing or play, and the opponent draws. So Sisu's there, 4 powered, so she's gonna take out Simba, taking 2 points of damage. Thanks to Simba's bodyguard ability, we get to protect our Ursula and the Muses. Our opponent is on 6. It's going to ink a Madame Snake. No, be prepared to be seen, because that would be coming down and raining like fire. Opponent goes Magic Broom. Elephant to bounce back the broom, followed by Flynn Rider, and that's 7. As the turn passes back to us, which we still have our combo pieces on the battlefield, picking up a Daisy Duck. Now I need to double sing something. Start the bouncing shenanigans. Well, we don't have that much to bounce because Elephant has too much power. If we look to our discard pile, we can find 2 Painting the Roses Red. So there's still another one in our deck. That's promising. Maybe we can dig for it. So, double sing, strike a good match, which seems to be what Ursula loves doing. We find Mother Knows Best, and Cursed Merfolk gets discarded. The trigger off of the Muse is going to bounce back Flynn to our opponent's hand. We get the second trigger of Strike a Good Match, pick up 2 cards, discarding a Cursed Merfolk, I think. No, actually, let's discard Diablo. We don't need no pesky birds. We've got the cards, all uninkable, but that's alright. That goes to the bottom of our deck. Need to get rid of that elephant. So we're gonna sing Mother Knows Best, bounce back to Madame Mim. Ariel's gonna go and trade with Sisu, so we get to keep our Ursula. And for our ink for the turn, Double Daisy Cursed Merfolk. Take that, Ruby Amethyst. As we pass back to our opponents. Opponent has a Brawl. Uses Brawl to take down Ursula. Quite unfortunately. I'll highlight Brawl. No partial search. Brawl. Like the Super Smash. Just banish a character 2 power or less. Which unfortunately fits Ursula's description. Which means our opponent has 4 ink remaining. Opponent's going to ink a Mim Elephant. Go to 8. 5 remaining this turn. And it's going to go Magic Broom, followed by a Mim Elephant, picking back the broom. Turn passes back. We pick up card for the turn, Baloo. Alright. Let's play our Baloo as a bodyguard. Muses can sing. They want to sing the Bare Necessities. Or use it for balance. Probably just sing it. Sing the Bare Necessities. See what our opponent's got. Opponent had friends on the other side. Flynn, the sword released, and the magic broom. So we do get to pick out a song. And now the scary part. We quested the daisies and the merfolk. We go to 8. but we give our opponent Daisy Trigger. Daisy Trigger number 1. Opponent misses on a Queen's Castle. Daisy number 2, trigger number 2. Another Queen's Castle. Down to your opponent's bottom of the deck. As we pass the turn back to our opponent. The opponent picks up another card. Opponent now on 3, 6, 7, 8. Opponent's going to ink a Magic Broom. Go to 9. And play Lady Tremaine and the sword released. Lady Tremaine forces us to sacrifice a character. We're going to sacrifice our Muses at this point. They've served their purpose. Then Mim Elephant is forced to challenge Baloo, which doesn't put any damage counter on it. Baloo triggers, which means we get 2 lore. Up to 10. And that's it for our opponent. We get it ready with our 2 questers. We find an Ursula. Pick her up with spells. Opponent only has 2 challengers, so we'll play the Ursula. Opponent's last card is a Flynn, which we already knew about. Quest for 6, go to 17. And Daisy triggers. We give our opponent a Madame Medusa and the Sisu. Now that doesn't feel good. As we pass the turn back to our opponent has the strongest character, so they drain us 1 lore thanks to the swords. Picks up the card for the turn. And they can't take down the daisies. They need to double challenge. Or Medusa, I mean. Medusa is going to take out a daisy. That's 6. Opponent has 3 remaining, which is enough for a Sisu. Actually, opponent probably inks a Mim Elephant at that point. Wait, no, I want to play the elephant. Inks the Sisu. Goes to 4. So they can play the elephant to pick back up Lady Tremaine. I mean, Madame Medusa. They're both these 6-costed uninkable. Evil ladies holding something. Yes, Medusa's back. And the double challenge is going to go against Daisy Duck. Take her out. And turn passes back to us. 16. Go Ariel. What can you find? 1, 2, 3, 4. Have Painting the Roses red. Not overly helpful in this particular situation. Oh yeah, Daisy has a bit of power. Sorry, forgot to put damage, which unfortunately helps our opponent tremendously. Quest for 3, go to 19. Actually, we need to... I hardcast the Ariel, so I only have 1 ink. So I'll just pass the turn. Opponent readies. Drains us 1 lore. Sword released. It's hurting us pretty bad now. Medusa takes out Ariel. And actually, Mim Elephant Trigger is going to take out the Cursed Merfolk off of the ability. Mim Elephant gets to challenge Ursula. Gets a point of damage. Tremaine quests for 2. And that elephant was from a previous turn. Opponent gets a quest for another 1. Goes to 10. And that was a 6 for Medusa. His opponent still has some ink remaining for a Flynn Rider. As they pass the turn back to us, we find Ariel. Go Ariel. Spectacular Singer us. We find Mother Knows Best or Strike a Good Match. Guess we take the inkable one. Strike a Good Match. There's not much we can do here. We're out of ink. We can ink 1, then draw 1. That doesn't help us. So we'll pass the turn back. Opponent readies. Draws a card. Mim moves some damage. Sword drains 1 lore, putting us way out of reach. So the opponent brawls our Ariel anyways. No Ariel effects around here happening. I should have highlighted the sword. Sword released. 2, actually Flynn trigger, forgot about it. 3, 4, 5, 6, opponent goes to 19. As the turn passes back to us, we've flown a devoted Herald, but it's too little too late as Ruby Amethyst takes the win. We got to 19 and the opponent just clawed their way back. Yeah. The 6-drop ladies just kept on destroying our battlefield. What a nice touch from the elephant. Got close, but couldn't quite get there. It's time for post-games analysis. So my takeaway for this deck is it's actually interesting to have the options of going hard aggro versus tricks. And the deck is not as aggressive as, say, an Amber Amethyst Shell where you're using the Mims to protect your cheap characters and you have Lilo and Daisy. Maybe we'll get into that another day, just a harder aggro. But this gets you the flexibility of going aggro early and then transitioning into more of a tricksy mid to late game. Not overly great against Amber Steel Songs, but then again, there's a big difference when you're playing aggro between going first and going second. And Daisy Duck is pretty strong, but now that I see the weakness to Meta Mim, it's a bit of a problem against Ruby Amethyst. In other matchups, it's not as bad, but yeah, I need to be careful in that matchup. We do get outcarded by some of the other strategies that we've played against, but I think the deck is fairly competitive. Maybe it can be tweaked a little bit and optimized. Maybe we don't need For Your Welcome. That card just didn't pan out too well into the games we've played. But overall, the deck felt interesting and powerful enough. I mean, it brought Ruby Amethyst to 19 one game in this video, and in Ruby Amethyst video, I think it also brought them to 19, and we came back with the sword released again. So it has some good power. It has a nice aggressive curve, and it's going to be a good baseline to test our other decks against it. Make sure that it can resist the combo side, make sure that they can resist the aggro side. But I'm not sure the deck is well positioned in the current metagame. Then again, I'm not sure what the current metagame is, and you said just released. We're going to find that out over the next couple of weeks. Yeah, very fun deck. Lots of nice tricksy things that you can do with it, especially once you hit the Muses. It gets quite amusing. I hope that you've enjoyed the video, that you've enjoyed the games. Don't forget to give a thumbs up to the video, and let me know in the comments below which deck you're most interested in seeing next. And on that note, I'll wish you all a great day, and I will see you next time.